This is once again Hariva Prasad Damarla, a retired Deputy General Manager from BSNL and ex-adjunct professor EC Department, PSCMR College of Engineering and Technology, Vijayawada, AP. In this session, we will discuss the first part of the common terminology or the technical terminology used in switching systems or networks. Let us recollect the classification of switching systems. Switching systems are either manual or automatic. Of course, manual exchanges are absolute and no more in the network. These automatic exchanges are further classified into electromechanical and electronic. The electronic switching systems can also be called as SPC exchanges, stored program control exchanges. These electromechanical exchanges are of basically two types. Either it may be a Strauger or step-by-step, whatever you call it. The other one is crossbar. So as a matter of fact, electromechanical exchanges, both of Strauger and crossbar, are also obsolete and no more in the network. Then coming to electronic exchanges pertaining to automatic type, there are two types. One is the space division switching network, the other one is time division switching network. So space division switching network also, it became obsolete as of now, and the only network working is time division based switching network. Further, these time division switching networks are classified into two categories. They are analog and digital. Analog also became obsolete and it is no more in the network. Then these digital exchanges can be classified into space switch, time switch, and combination switch. So it can be either space switch or time switch or a combination of both space and time. Combination switch is the generally used switching network in the telecom field for a medium to major telephone exchange of higher capacity. Next, we will further discuss about the common terminology after recapturing the classification of switching systems. Then we will try to understand a little bit about automatic exchanges. The manual switching system requires an operator or the telephone operator who, after receiving a request, connects a call between the calling and called party. Here, the operator is the sole in charge for establishing or releasing the connections. The privacy of the calls and the details of the called and calling subscribers are at stake. So here, what we have to understand, in manual exchanges, switching systems, the operator plays a major role in connecting the calling party to the called party on receiving a request. Suppose if the calling party lifts his telephone to speak to one of his friends, relatives, or somebody, so the operator gets an indication and he answers and ascertains the party to whom the calling party intends to speak. Then he has to the operator has to establish a connection between the calling and called party. So therefore he is the sole in charge for establishing and releasing the connections. After completion, after establishing, after their conversation, after they disconnect their telephone, after completing the conversation, so he has to release the connections between the calling and called party. So here the issue is the operator knows who is the calling party and with whom he has spoken. That is the called party. The details are not secrets. It is known to a third party, here in this case the telephone operator. To overcome the disadvantages of manual switching systems, the automatic switching systems came into existence with the following advantages. What are the advantages of automatic exchanges? We will look into it. Language barriers will not affect the request for connection. So the first barrier in manual exchange is the language. Both the calling party or the subscriber and the operator, they should know a common language. Otherwise, communication cannot be established between calling party and the operator, so that the calling party can indicate his requirement to the telephone operator. Let us assume the subscriber who makes a call, who intends to speak with another person, knows only Telugu. On the other hand, the telephone operator in the telephone exchange does not know Telugu language and he or she knows only English. Then there is a language barrier between them for intercommunication. So that is the main disadvantage as far as the manual exchanges are concerned. Higher degree of privacy is maintained in automatic exchange. So higher degree of privacy is maintained. That is in the sense, so nobody knows who is dialing whom. I am dialing one of my friends. So nobody knows except myself. So privacy is maintained. But in manual exchange, the operator knows that Hariba Prasad spoke with some XYZ of his friends or known persons or relatives, somebody else like that, or of his business contact, whatever it is. Then other advantage in automatic exchanges is faster establishment and release of calls is done. Here, establishment of call between calling and called party is very fast when compared to manual exchange, because in manual exchange, the establishment of call between calling party and called party depends upon the efficacy of the operator in handling the traffic or the traffic scenario also. If more number of people are making calls in a particular hour, so at that time the operator may not be able to connect the calling party to the called party immediately. But in automatic exchange, whenever I want to speak to anyone or the called party rather to say, I can make a call. Number of calls made in a given period can be increased because the calling party dials the called party on his own without waiting for the attention of the operator, and also disconnects the telephone, and immediately the connection is released automatically by the automatic exchange. So number of calls that can be made with the help of automatic exchanges when compared to manual exchanges, it is on higher side, very much on the higher side, with a lot of conveniences. Calls can be made irrespective of the load on the system or the time of the day. This already I have discussed. So calls can be made irrespective of the load on the system, whether it is busy time or it is non-busy time. So calls can be made irrespective of the load on the network. So that is the another salient feature of automatic exchanges. Then we will try to understand what is dialing in switching systems. Of course, it is pertaining to automatic, whatever we are discussing, they are more related to automatic exchanges. Let us try to understand how a call is made and how dialing is done without the help of an operator. So we will try to understand how a call is made by the calling party to the called party without the assistance of telephone operator. Unlike in manual switching system, an automatic switching system requires a systematic numbering plan or addressing scheme to identify the subscribers. So here we have to adopt a systematic approach for giving numbers to the subscribers, or we can generally say addressing scheme. The telephone exchange may be having 3 digits number uniformly to all the subscribers. For example, I can say in a 100-line telephone exchange, the subscribers can be given telephone numbers, say for example, from 200 to 299. So 100 numbers can be given. So that is everybody in the telephone exchange area or in the town or in that village will have same number of digits, uniform numbering scheme. So 3 digits here in our example. In numbering plan, a number identifies a subscriber and is used than the addressing scheme in which a subscriber is identified by the alphanumerical strings. So here each and every subscriber is identified with a number. Maybe it may be 3-digit number, 4-digit number, 5-digit number, or 6-digit or 7-digit. For example, my number is 249959 in Vijayawada town. So it is a 7-digit number. So in entire Vijayawada, everybody, all the users will have 7-digit number. Okay. Therefore, a mechanism is needed to transmit the identity of the called subscriber to the exchange. So when I want to make a call to another subscriber with same 7-digit pattern, so there should be some mechanism how I transfer the number of the called party or the subscriber to the telephone exchange. I have to indicate I want to speak with one of my friends, say for example 2539999, 253 followed by 4 nines. So I have to convey to the telephone exchange or to the automatic exchange that I want to speak with so and so number. In our example, whatever I have given is 2539999. This mechanism should be present in the telephone set in order to connect the call automatically to the required subscriber. So the mechanism of conveying the called party number by the calling party is available in the telephone set. The methods prevalent for this purpose are pulse dialing and multi-frequency dialing. There are 2 methods which were in vogue. They are pulse dialing and the other one is multi-frequency dialing. There are 2 types. We will study about these 2 types in detail to some extent. in our ensuing slides. Of them, the pulse dialing was the most commonly used in early stages of automatic exchanges, and subsequently multi-frequency dialing has been developed and used at present. So in the initial days of automatic exchanges, for example in electromechanical exchanges, we used to adopt pulse dialing technique for conveying the called party number by the calling party. But subsequently, because of its certain limitations and advancements in the field of telecommunication, with the state-of-the-art telephone exchanges, we have adopted a new method which is in vogue at present, is MF signaling, multi-frequency signaling or dialing, and still they are in use. So we will try to understand the pulse dialing as well as multi-frequency dialing in our subsequent slides. Pulse dialing, we will try to understand what is pulse dialing. Okay, let us go through the contents of this slide. Pulse dialing is a signaling technology in telecommunications in which a direct current local loop circuit is interrupted according to a defined coding system for each signal transmitted, usually a digit. Here we have to recollect the current flows from the telephone exchange to the subscriber via the copper pair connected from telephone exchange to the user when he lifts the telephone with battery feed of -50 volts from the telephone exchange. For dialing a digit, I want to dial digit 2. So I have to interrupt the loop after lifting the telephone by dialing digit 2. That means I have to send 2 pulses to dial 2. If I want to dial 3, digit number 3, so I have to disrupt the loop 3 times. Technically, the loop is disturbed or broken and re-established. Make and break, we can say, generally we will say make and break, and there will be a certain ratio between the make and break. The details we will study. It's already indicated in the diagram also. Here you see digit 3. The calling subscriber is dialing digit 3. So there are 3 pulses. Here also this is one waveform. So the make period is 33% of the total wave time. This is the duration of the this wave. So 0.3 times it is the circuit is through, and it is broken for the balance 0.67 times or 67%. We will, and there is an interdigit gap. After 3, the user is dialing 2 here, 2 signals, 2 pulses, pulse 1, pulse 2. Here 3 pulses, pulse 1, pulse 2, pulse 3, and there is a gap between these 2 pulse trains. This is known as interdigit gap. Same thing it is explained in these slides. We will go through one by one. As the name implies, the digits that are used to identify the subscribers are represented by a train of pulses. This is the train of pulses. 3 pulses followed by 2 pulses and so on. The number of pulses in a train is equal to the digit value it represents, except in case of 0, which is represented by 10 pulses. For digit 1, 1 pulse. For digit 2, 2 pulses, and so on up to 9. If you dial number 9, 9 pulses are sent. But in case if you dial 0, it is designed to send 10 pulses like this. Pulses, 10 pulses. Successive digits in a number are represented by a series of pulse trains. These pulses have equal number of time intervals, and the number of pulses produced will be according to the number dialed. So the pulses is proportional to the number of the digits what we are dialing. If you are dialing 9 pulses should be sent on the line from the telephone instrument to the exchange, indicating that the required number is 9. Two successive trains are distinguished from one another by a pause in between them, known as the interdigit gap. This is the interdigit gap. So here in this example, digit 3 followed by digit 2. There is a interdigit gap. This is the gap. Okay, how much the minimum gap required and all, it is explained in the next slide. The pulses are generated by alternatively breaking and making the loop circuit between the subscriber and the exchange. So through the copper wire, through the telephone exchange, so there will be a loop, subscriber loop, which is broken or which is made depending upon the digit dialed to indicate the exchange. So and so number is required. An example of pulse train is shown in the figure. As shown in the figure, to dial the called party number 32, so small example we have taken, 2-digit number only. The calling party has to send 3 pulses followed by 2 pulses to the exchange. So he is sending 3 pulses with interdigit gap, 2 pulses. Therefore, the exchange understands this calling party wants to speak with another party or the called party whose number is 32. Accordingly, it establishes a connection with 32. Then both the calling and called party, they can speak with each other. Let us see. Then the exchange sends a ring to the called party 32, and after the called party lifting his or her telephone, both calling and called party converse with each other. So they speak with each other. Pulse dialing, here I have given one example. Okay, this is my number, calling party number 249959. I have wrongly typed. Okay, let us assume it is a 6-digit number 249959, and the called party number is 253999. So the calling party has to dial called party number 2 followed by 5 followed by 3 followed by 9 followed by 9 followed by 9. So first he has to send 2 pulses, then 5 pulses, 3 pulses, 9 pulses, 9 pulses, 9 pulses. Then a ring is sent to this number. Then this calling party and called party, they can speak with each other. The figure shows the pulsating pattern. The pulse rate is usually 10 pulses per second with a 10% of tolerance. So the number of pulses that can be sent in a unit time of 1 second is 10 pulses with 10% plus minus tolerance period. The gap between the digits, which is called interdigit gap, is at least 200 milliseconds. This interdigit gap should be minimum 200 milliseconds, or it can be a little bit more also. The pulse dialing pattern employs the duty ratio between the pulse width and the time period of the waveform. The pulse is 33% make period and 67% break period as shown here. So make period is 33%, break period is 67%. Break period is twice the make period. Same thing is given here. Make period 33% time, break period 67% time, and inter-digit gap minimum should be 200 milliseconds. Now we will look into the rotary type of dial telephone. These are the telephones as shown in the figure, deployed in the initial stages. Of course, they were there still recently. Still some people are maybe using these type of telephones in automatic exchanges. In the pulse dialing technique, there is making and breaking of the subscriber loops. This is what we have discussed. This might disturb and affect the performance of the speaker, that is receiver. This is the receiver. Okay, this is the transmitter. This might disturb and affect the performance of the speaker, that is receiver, microphone, that is the transmitter, and bell contained in the telephone. There is a bell to indicate a ring when an incoming call is received. In addition, the dialing timing should not affect the timing of the pulse string, as this will lead to the dialing of a wrong number. So we have to maintain the proper timings depending upon the digits dialed, and the ratio between the make and break also should be maintained properly. Otherwise, it leads to dialing a wrong number. Apart from that, this making and breaking of the loop in pulse dialing technique with rotary dial telephone will have this effect. It will affect the performance of the speaker, transmitter, and bell. Rotary dial telephone came into existence to solve the problems prevailing then at the time. So to resolve this rotary dial telephone came into existence. The microphone and the loudspeaker are combined and placed in the receiver set. Here you can see both the transmitter or receiver are placed in a single unit. Okay, so this is called receiver unit, both with transmitter as receiver. The microphone and loudspeaker are combined and placed in the receiver set. The set has a finger plate arrangement, and which makes the dialing time appropriate. The figure shows how a rotary dial telephone looks like. This is the finger plate. So because with the help of finger plates, so you can dial the correct digit or the correct called party number. How it helps, we will see. This is known as finger plate. This entire plate. Finger plate means here, suppose if I want to dial, I have to place my finger, suppose 5, I have to place here and rotate it clockwise up to this point. This is known as finger plate stop. So then remove your finger. Then 5 digits are sent to the telephone exchange. So this is the same is explained in the next slide also. This is this white color. Okay, this is known as finger stop. That means you have to rotate the finger plate up to this point and it stops there. It stops your finger to further move. It helps in stopping finger moving further in clockwise, and then you have to release your finger. The dial is operated by placing the finger in the hole appropriate to the digit to be dialed. So if I want to dial, I have to place the finger in this hole with number 5. Now drawing the finger plate round the clockwise direction up to the finger stop position and letting the dial free by withdrawing the finger makes a number dial. So after rotating the finger plate up to this finger stop, this white one, so I have to remove my finger. Then it automatically goes back because of the spring action provided in the telephone instrument. The finger plate and the associated mechanism now return to the rest position under the influence of a spring. So because of the spring action, it goes back and rests in its rest position. The dial is ready for the next number to dial. So after dialing, after bringing this plate up to this point, I will release my finger, it goes back. Then if I suppose I want to dial 8, then once again the finger plate is ready. I can put my finger in 8 and dial up to this point. So that is how dialing is done in the rotary dial telephone. The dial pulses are produced during the return travel of the finger plate, thus eliminating the human element in pulse timings. So because of this spring action with the help of finger plates, so you are eliminating the mistake of the human being in dialing the appropriate number. Okay, the adjacent figure shows the dial holes and the finger stop. Okay, these are the dial holes 0, 9, like this up to 1. Okay, this is the finger stop. Then we will try to understand a little bit about the signaling tones. Let us go through the contents of this slide. As the manual exchanges were replaced with automatic exchanges, the operator who used to communicate the calling subscribers regarding the situation of the called subscribers needed to be replaced with different tones indicating different situations. In the operator-assisted manual exchanges, the operator used to inform the calling subscriber, okay, I am connecting to the called subscriber. So then he sends a ring to the called subscriber. If the called subscriber is busy, so you will inform the calling subscriber, the party with whom you are intending to speak is busy, and try after some time, like that. So like this, different situations of the called subscriber are indicated to the calling subscriber with the help of the operator. Now all these things are to be replaced in the automatic exchanges with automatic signaling indications. So we will study what are all the major signaling functions that are to be taken care of by automatic exchanges, which were performed by the telephone operator in manual exchanges. Consider the following 5 subscriber related signaling functions that are to be performed by the operator in manual exchange. First one is respond to the calling subscriber that system is ready to receive the identification of the called party. First, the calling party, when he lifts his telephone, he should know the system is ready to accept his requirement or accept his request, and he can dial the number of the called party. He should know when he can commence dialing the number of the called party. Whether the system is ready or not, he should know. How he will know? So the exchange will feed a dial tone to the calling party when he lifts his telephone for dialing a number of the called party. So he should get dial tone. Then only he will start dialing the numbers. Inform the calling subscriber that call is being established. He should know the situation by through some signaling information that call is being processed and established to connect to the called party. That is another type of signaling tone. Ring the bell of the called party. Okay, let us assume the called party is free. So a ring should be sent to the called party that you are getting a call from a person, from other subscriber. So ring is to be sent and his bell, the bell in the telephone should ring indicating that an incoming call is coming to him. That is called ringtone. Okay, inform the calling subscriber if the called party is busy. Suppose the called party is busy, but here there is no operator. So therefore the calling party should know that the called party is busy. So you have to send a tone to the calling party from the telephone exchange indicating that so the called party is busy, is maybe speaking with someone else. Inform the calling subscriber if the called party is busy. That is busy tone. Generally we call it as busy tone. Inform the calling subscriber if the called party line is unobtainable for some reason. Due to some technical reasons, or it may be due to all the exchange lines are busy, or it may be due to dialing a wrong number which is not existing. So the calling party or the subscriber who is making call should know, so this number cannot be obtained. So he can make a call subsequently and properly without missing the digits in assigned to the called party, or the exchange lines may become free by that time after some time. So all these 5 signaling tones are must in automatic exchanges to replace the manual exchange system. So this much I want to discuss in the first part of the common terminology pertaining to telephone switching networks. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel. My channel address is given here. So thank you. So we will discuss the second part in the subsequent lecture. Thank you.